very good. Okay, the main things are there. Okay, good morning, everyone. I was a few weeks back. Please approve, everyone. This workshop is open since we're not showing anything else. So very short introduction. How we get this to this workshop is that basically that was on the list of the workshops that people would like to hear about. And I understand that there's quite some people in our company which never have been on the set and saw it only in the movies or internet and stuff like that. And what I would like to do today is just to go through the basics of a shooting day, to go to the vocabulary that people will use, the equipment with the naming of specific stuff here and there. So the goal is that next time when you're getting some material and you will be able to see what's happening, and you will be able to say, that's what they mean when they're saying, okay, move this thing left, move this thing right, and what is this thing and why they're doing and how they're doing. Quite a lot. After I finished to prepare that, I realized, well, that's first a lot of information. Second, I'm jumping here and there, but that's kind of like basically the things that I collected and that I was thinking that will be the most important. Why I'm doing the workshop, basically, or why I do know some stuff about that. Just I did study cinematography. I finished Tel Aviv University as a cinematographer and worked a little bit on few sets in feature films, commercials, music videos as gaffer and cinematographer. I came to Germany for work to do a gaffer job on the feature film, and then I stayed here as a compositor, and then I stopped working on the set. So yes, a lot of my information will be slightly outdated, and I was checking myself while preparing with the internet, but basically it will be, well, this type of equipment now is LEDs and not fluorescents, or like we're using these lights or not these lights, and cameras, of course, changing like every second month. We have new camera, new sensor, but essentials of set will not change, and that's something that I would like to go through today. All right, so let's start from the shooting itself. It's of course it's only one part of the whole process. We of course all understand that. Before shooting we have quite many steps, and after shooting there will be as well many steps that can make movie way better or destroy it completely, like editing, and before shooting like the story and so on and so on. I found this very nice kind of like flow chart which kind of describing, and actually shoot is somewhere here. And today I will touch just this part and maybe a little bit of pre-production, because I was thinking, well, it is also nice to know how the script is coming to life, and then coming actually, and how we actually then executing this on the set. Then I was like, well, we need to see what is the main parts basically of movie making or on a film set, what will be the most important, and I will touch each one of these ones. So it will be basically why we're doing that, what we're going to shoot. It's basically what is the script, what is the story, where, who will shoot it, how we're going to execute that, and what will be the equipment that we're going to use. So I will start from the very kind of like I knew it a little bit again, kind of like, well, why, of course, but it's the most important thing, why you're doing the movie, and from few aspects. This why will affect every other step of your filmmaking. Okay, you can have the story, you can have the story that absolutely the same, and 5 different directors will make 5 different movies, which will look differently, which will be shot in different way, and will be shot in different locations. So this decision is made way before you kind of like starting to think about the shooting. It's basically when you're starting to think about your idea and what you're going to shoot, and like when we will arrive to film shooting, I will maybe bring some examples. And let's jump to what we're going to shoot, and that will be the script. And I will go in details talking about the script, but there are a few things that people, directors or film crew will have on set in order to keep them kind of like, not to keep them on track, but they will know what exactly they want to shoot. I did not add one more, which will be just a blank piece of paper, which some directors, at least in the time when I was still studying, there are some directors, even big ones, that just don't have all that. They don't have script, and they just like, well, let's improvise. And then on the set, they're like, okay, there will be, okay, medium shot of this guy. Next one will be like long shot. Let's just, and then do establishing, or I don't know what. Okay, but it's very rare. So what we're looking here, there are three kind of like things. There's script. First, script is basically that's the story with all the people which are talking, with the dialogues, with the locations. We'll jump to script a little bit later. Storyboard and previews. Okay, and now let's talk about the script itself, how it is created. Okay, and this is a very nice workflow, like the flow of the creation of the script. So first of all, a person have an idea, okay, and but it is not nothing else. Well, I want to make cool movie, okay, about the Green Lantern because I saw it in comics, but that's not enough. You're starting slowly increase the amount of complexity by adding more kind of like more information there, basically. Okay, so first of all, we will create a log line, and that's really, it's few sentences. It will be like, okay, we will, like, as here I will just read, it's just description of the main character, there's supposed to be goal, there's supposed to be conflict, and then something crazy is happening. Well, this is the usual story, that something is happening, and then there is a fight and final resolution. So this is very kind of, that will be the log line of before we're going to synopsis and treatment. Okay, now these guys, it's still not the script itself, not the screenplay. Okay, this is before you're going there, and after you have a log line and you're like, okay, now let's start to creating a story. Let's start to create act 1, act 2, act 3. Usually synopsis will be the beginning, and treatment will be slightly more elaborated, something that you're coming to producers and starting to sell your idea, so you will be able to write the script, because it takes time and you want to be paid for that. Okay, so that will be synopsis and treatment. I think I have example. Yeah, so for example, that will be the 500 words synopsis. You cannot shoot with synopsis because you still have not enough information. You don't have scenes, you don't have dialogues, but you have already more elaborated kind of like idea of the story. Okay, and then we're arriving to script. Okay, script itself will be, as I kind of like was checking, it's 90 to 130 pages. It's for feature movie in different languages, in different countries. It will be different lengths because some languages are more compressed. As well, script can be 50 pages or can be 500 pages. It's very different when you have script which is full of dialogues, or you have action movie, which will be very different type of writing, and there will be different type of information. But what is I think very important for us people that not on set, it's to understand how basically script is structured, and here we have these elements of a script, and it's very standard. So that doesn't matter where you're reading the script, in which country, at least from my experience, it will look like that. Okay, and let's just go through few things that we see here. So it's always will be in script written, it's interior or exterior, because we need to know, okay, interior, exterior, we need to know it's day or it's night, which is time. Then there will be a settings, okay, it's inside of apartment and inside of the bathroom. Okay, so boom, we're already in certain location, certain time of the day, maybe weather as well. But then there will be the action line. As you can see, it's a little bit broader text here. And then here we will have dialogues. Who is the talking? In this case, it's a Kyra. And OS, it's off screen, meaning we hear a person, but we don't see the person. Okay, also here it's quite a usual thing is to writing, for example, here it's remembering. Okay, it's basically you describing the way the person is kind of like pronouncing stuff. And it's here, for example, yelling. Actually, I didn't see that previously. Yelling, okay. And this is how every script will be written, or most of them. This is, for example, I found something from Tarantino, just was like, okay, script from Tarantino. You will see the same. Here also we have close-up, okay? Then we have, I don't know what is called, Landis POV. I don't know what it's called, but POV, it's point of view. So there are few things which coming inside of the script, which like we're not mentioning here, but the base structures always will be the same. You have action lines, then you have somebody's telling something, and then we have the dialogues. Okay, so while you're reading script, you can visually already understand. It's not like a book. In book you have a text, you have characters, and then you let your fantasy go like wild. In the dialogue, in the scripts, you're already way more directed by the screenwriter how it's going to be kind of like presented on screen. All right, so that's enough for script. I know that was jump. It's not connected to shooting itself, but I kind of like a little bit drifted when I was preparing that, and I think it's anyway important information. So every shoot will start from a location recce or location scouting. Okay, so before you're going to shoot, you need to find the location, and that will be extremely kind of like, there are a few things that you need to think about. First of all, it will be on studio or it will be on location. And it's a very nice table which was concluding everything that will be a consequence if you're choosing studio or location. So first of all, if you're shooting on location, it's, in my opinion, always looks better, and it's like basically wildly accepted opinion because it's realistic. So right now here I found some picture of shooting in New York location, looks cool. You're going to studio, you always are, dude, it looks like studio. Okay, and there's many things which are affecting this feeling, like, and we will go to a little bit in the details, but it's pretty much understandable. The very big pros of shooting in studio, everything is prepared, easy to set a schedule, all convenience are there. So they're adding Wi-Fi, but most important, you have restrooms. Important, you have electricity, which is big deal for a movie shoot. We will touch this in details a little bit more. And the cons will be, it will be more expensive and it will be unauthentic. Okay, so regarding more expensive, sometimes if you're shooting on location, always you have to get a permission, and that's not always you can get it so easily. So I'm not so sure about the expensive in all cases, but it's generally correct. When you're shooting on location, of course, you have for free amazing backdrop, like in this case New York, and that's like, go build something like this. It will cost you for kind of like a fortune. Exactly. No, you don't need set design, authentic look. Regarding the schedule, it's insanely hard to schedule. If you want to shoot empty Los Angeles street in the middle of the city, like you can't. Okay, so there are many movies which doing this, coming at 5 o'clock in the morning, blocking the whole street, and they're shooting that, and then they're raising all the kind of like people that they did not manage to catch, and they enter the frame. Okay, so it's really kind of like a really challenge. Also, again, the con on location will be you don't have frequently toilets, you don't have access to electricity, which is a big deal. Okay, and less control in terms of lighting and sound, which is also understandable. Where am I now? Actually, I was talking about this, that let's see if I missed something. Here with kind of like, what is the actually the location recce, what is the scouting, and who will go there. It's very little disclaimer basically, that even within one country, different productions will be different, with the people taking a slightly different kind of like actions in the movie. So for example, if there is a smaller production, probably like, or it's like on location, basically director could be on location, definitely producer in the location scouting. Okay, the cameraman should be there, and of course assistant director. Okay, so what we're checking when we're coming to location, if we're shooting on location, and location can be like under the water, and you just need to check. So it's not enough to say, for example, well, we need to underwater shoot. Yeah, there is a place that can offer this to us. No, you need to go there, you need to see how deep the water is, what are the walls, can you put inside of this water equipment, and there's like a lot of things like related specifically shooting underwater. In this case, for example, this will be in the pool, but if you're shooting inside of lake, how kind of like, how we can access there, can you dive there, it's forbidden, it's not, it's like a lot of questions that need to be answered. That's why there will be quite some amount of people depending on the production, depending on the location. But this will be the first step, is just to check, okay, which location we do have. Then I put here a floor plan, and that's basically something that at least in all movies that I did participate and all kind of like all shootings, we had floor plan. It's where the actually people will stand, where your talent will be located, where your set is located, and where we're going to put lights. Okay, just to see, okay, can we actually do something like that? When you're going to location rec, you also see, well, can I put my camera in this place? Then the best thing is just to have the floor plan of this place, and then you can start to play in the pre-production where there will be cameras, how every shot will be executed, where you can put the lights, where you cannot put the lights because, for example, your ceiling it's too low, and then we're saying, well, I was in this location, we cannot put their like light this side, like a Ari sun inside of this room because the room is only 280 centimeter high. So floor plan will be, from my experience, essential part of pre-production. And now let's go to the crew itself. This was one of the kind of like pictures that I did find on the internet, and there's kind of billions or quite many. And this one was not too little and not too big. And from my point of view, it's covering almost all main figures except of assistant director, which is my opinion one of the most important people from the crew on this crew members on the set, and I will talk about him later. There is a slate which is kind of like dedicated to him. Okay, let's just see. We have a director, we have a director of photography, under which we have a camera operator, gaffer, and key and grip. Then we have sound, production design, and we have actors. Okay, let's go just one by one. I will try to go from top to bottom and just to basically talk about the positions and what they're doing. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of information that you already know, but maybe you will learn something on the way. So director on the film set is the person with the vision that brings everything together. They communicate this vision to the rest of the cast and the crew. Directors are very, very different, again, as very different productions. Director styles can like hugely vary. There's some directors with extremely importance to the how picture looks like in the end, so they will spend a lot of time with the gaffer and with DOP, and then they will kind of like direct actors. There's some directors which absolutely don't care how it will look like, or not much care, and they will spend very much most of their time concentrating on the working with the actors. The main kind of purpose, not main purpose, the main goal of director, basically to get his scene in the way that he wants to get it. Okay, and that's where he will be, and that's kind of like that's important to understand. He is not kind of trying to speed things up here there. He's not trying to check if other department is ready. No, he's just absolutely concentrated on the kind of his goal to bring his vision to the screen. Okay, yes, director will finally, like he's still the boss. He will tell when it's over, when the take is done, when the shot is done. So it can be like one take shot, that can be 50 take shots. Okay, of course there are more powerful people than director. Sometimes, usually, there will be producer that will say, no guys, we just can't do this anymore. But director is the person who is actually head of the shoot, because like you cannot have too many heads. You really have to have one, and director is the best one. Now, after each crew member, I put basically tools that they're using. And in this case, I'm kind of like, well, storyboard, script, and the monitor. I know that's like, well, what? But I think I was like, well, which tools actually physically he's using. And the storyboard, I already showed you previously. It's basically, it's when you put your script already on the paper with the frame size, with the angle, so you will be more prepared to which shot you're going to use to shot this day, for example, this specific day. Let's just keep going to first assistant director. So I don't know why he was missing in this chart, because again, that's the guy that we will get movie going on the set. So this is supposed to be the most, I would not say friendly, but the most respected person on set from my point of view, because this guy have to communicate with all departments that now pushing things forward currently, and need to think about the next move, what will be the next set of shots, what will be the next direction. He need to see that everybody working together and everything is coming in time. So this guy will always come to director if there is like, okay, dude, we have to start moving because we have another shot to do, and kind of like we already like, it's already 8 o'clock in the evening, and director will decide if they will move. But this guy, he's always kind of like with his watch, always with the schedule. If there is like lunch, when lunch, if there is like, I don't know, makeup is not ready, he will check, okay, when it will be ready, and then he need to move different department later or earlier. That's correct. Yes. So Nicole adding that, yes, this guy, that's the person that you will talk, for example, Itamar, you will not scream, no, don't shoot, there is a blue screen is not even. So this is something that I actually, it's not like I missed. We can see it from this picture. It's very, very high hierarchy on set, and this is extremely important because this is high stress environment, because you have to deliver. It's not a VFX studio when they will say, well, yeah, no, we will do it tomorrow. Like if you're not in compositing, if you're in different department, it's like, yeah, we will render it next day, or we will do it next day. No, you didn't shoot it today, you don't have actor tomorrow. This is a big problem. Okay, so everybody are talking to specific people, and you're not supposed, I'm not saying never, you're not supposed to talk to director. You're supposed to talk to person and touch things that you're allowed to do and allowed to touch, because otherwise everything is collapsing and everything's supposed to work click, 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 and that will be the most important guy for this task. All right, so who is this? Director of photography. Again, big production, you have director of photography, and he is also camera operator, and small production, sorry, and he's also first assistant camera. It's small production. Big production, you're starting to get way more people and in director of photography department, and that will be the usual kind of like usual structure what we see here. But let's concentrate just on the director of photography. What is his responsibility? Is creating a look of the film, and he will work very closely with basically with all the technical heads. I think like definitely he will work with director, he would work with the production design. Director of photography is not the guy that holding the camera. It's completely not important who is going to hold the camera in the end. It's the guy that's sitting with director before they even have a location, and he's deciding with director what will be the look of the movie. When the movie is supposed to be harsh and cold, okay, then he's like, okay, then we will use these lights, then we will use these angles, then we use this equipment, and even equipment will be a little bit later. But the most important from director of photography, it's how the movie will look like. You remember some directors are very close to that. Some directors that don't care too much, they're saying, well, I will just take amazing director of photography, I'll concentrate on actors, and he will take care of the look. I'll just tell him, dude, I want this will be very happy movie, okay, the look wise. So that will be the basically the responsibility of director of photography. Of course, he's head of the Gaffer camera and key, but on the medium to big productions, it's kind of these guys really know what to do. And like he will talk to his, of course, he'll talk to his camera operator, he will talk to Gaffer a lot. And key grip, basically it's a little bit more technical, so these guys will get to what is kind of like tasks of grips. So, and here we're starting to get some tools. The further from director you're getting, the more tools you're having. So, which tools will use director of photography? So this is the light meter, and that was extremely essential tool 20 years back, I would say, like crazy essential. When we did shoot on film and we actually cannot see the final result in our monitors, and we don't know how much light is falling on the actors. We see with our eyes, but our eyes are way better adapting to light. We have way more stops than film, like we have like 35 or 16 millimeter. We have way better way to adapt the dynamic range. Our dynamic range of our eyes is basically, like, don't catch me, I think 14 stops, which is same as the film 35 millimeter, but we can easily change kind of like which area we see. If it's darkness, we're adapting kind of our ISO very easily. When it's bright, we kind of darkening our ISO. I'm calling this ISO, but basically you understand what I'm talking about, I hope. Film cannot do that. Okay, so previously you're shooting in film and your ISO is like 200 or 500. Yeah, no, they still in use because it is quite easy to get basically readings from how much light is falling. But right now I will just tell you, okay guys, this is light meters. There are two types of light meters, which is incident and reflected. And I brought one. I found in my basement. So this one is the reflected light meter, and the thing is, you're just pointing this on the person that is lit by the lighting, and you getting light which is reflecting from the surface and coming back to camera. This is the reflected light source. And incident is the different one. Okay, I will leave there. This one is just telling you how much light is falling on the subject or on the background. What is the difference? One of them is just don't care about how much light is reflected actually to the camera, but it's already good enough for you to understand, okay, how much light is falling, because you can compare, okay, on my background there is like, I don't know, certain amount of light. On my face there's you just coming here and you checking, okay, so we have like 2 stops difference. Light is kind of like, that's fine, okay, that's good, we can keep going and shooting. Right now light matters also, yes, used when you're shooting with a green screen. It's important that you will not overexpose your green screen, so you will be properly exposed on the characters, on the background and everything. So it is, yes, shot, it's good joke about the kind of material, but that's quite important part of the tools of director of photography. Now, viewfinder, this one is absolutely in use and all the time. So basically DOP need to prepare the shot, he need to prepare the frame, and you don't want to carry Alexa 65 all the time with you while you're doing that. You want to see the framing, and framing will change depending on which camera you're using, what is the sensor size, which lens you're using, okay? And viewfinder gives you exactly that. So basically you can choose what is your field of view, and you can choose what is your frame size. You're looking and saying, well, I can have this frame, and here on the left side, that's the very basic viewfinder that you can have. Just to understand, can you actually squeeze something inside the frame that you think in your head you can squeeze? When you're going to location recce, you want to bring this thing with you, because you have in your head this, oh yeah, that will be the huge establishing shot, and you're inside of the room, like, and you just cannot go more back, because, and then you need to say, okay, which lens I actually need to take to have this establishing shot. And like, well, I need actually 12mm lens, because with my viewfinder, if I'm setting this on 12mm, I finally can have full room in the view. So that's something that you should expect to see on the neck of a director of photography on every set, from my point of view, from my experience. Then monitors, not much I can say about that. Like, it's they're pretty inexpensive lately. I understand that all this equipment is pretty expensive, but I compared to what it was cost previously, and I was like, well, that's actually pretty affordable, a few €1,000. And it's just monitors that have more options than monitors that we do have. Okay, but it's not crazily different from what we have. Usually monitors will be always protected inside of the boxes. You position them on the a very sturdy stand, and trying not to flip it, because that's happening a lot if people not paying attention. All right, let's keep going. Camera, director of photography has a camera. Yes, correct. I didn't put too much emphasis on the camera. We have a workshop and it's recorded when we're talking specifically about the camera and all the crazy stuff that we have on top of that, including lenses, which is important to know. But right now I will just say, well, camera wise, we have, I don't want to enter. It's such a big topic, so we dedicated one workshop specifically to cameras and lenses, and we will just keep going. Okay, next guy is camera operator. So you remember people saying, well, I'm camera operator, everybody, well, this guy is DOP and stuff. Two different things, okay? In small productions, of course, your DOP will operate the camera, or even director will operate the camera if he likes to, and many directors do like. But basically, camera operator is the guy that's responsible for all this madness here, and operating the camera. Okay, if somebody have some specific shot to do which you need Steadicam, you will need the specific Steadicam operator, which just will come to set. He has a Steadicam, you're giving him a camera, or he's coming with his camera, most likely not. And then he's doing the shot, thank you very much, camera operator taking back the kind of like the rest of the shots. He will, what his responsibility, responsible for setting up the camera, equipment, capturing the director's shot. The cameraman must know all the technical aspects of the camera, how to build it, how to take it apart, how to put camera on the tripod or any other kind of like support. And he will work closely, and now I'm kind of like will try who is talking to whom. Of course, director of photography all the time, but as well a lot with Gaffer and a lot with grip, because camera has to be mounted somewhere, and grip is the guys that do mount things basically. Okay, and there is again there's kind of merging between Gaffer and camera crew and key grip. On different productions it's different, but you always will need help if you need to mount your camera on the dolly. That's grip guys, they will come and start helping you with these things. Again, accessories, I'm absolutely jumping. Yes, I did put some stuff. Okay, most important stuff on the camera that kind of like I would mention. It's kind of like it's cameras will be different by sensor size, and what will be the effect, the final picture. It will be sensor, it will be the settings, and in settings I'm including the frame rate, the shutter speed, the lens, compression type, if already it's already will be recording material. Okay, but basically what we're looking here, it's Alexa. Yeah, it's Alexa, very simple, and that's super, or at least, I don't know if it was with my experience in life or it's just the world did change. You all, in my opinion, will be able to operate Ari Alexa, like setting-wise, because like right now in our kind of iPhones or our DSLRs, there's very similar settings. If you're going inside of the menu, it's very, very simple. You know, you're setting up your ISO, you're setting up your shutter speed, you're setting up 1, 2, 3, 4, stuff that you already did in your DSLR. So it's not very complicated. There are, of course, more settings inside, but it's not crazily complicated for each one of us. After like 15 minutes already, we will be, it will be able for you to kind of to operate like this camera. Okay. Lenses, yeah, it's part of the camera kind of explanation, and I will touch lenses because that's how your movie will look like. They as important as camera and sometimes as expensive as cameras. Not in Alexa case, I think even yes, I think this set will be same price as Alexa camera will be, if not more. So what is the main differences between lenses? You will have anamorphic or cylindrical lenses, which means anamorphic lens is one that you see here, which will shoot material stretched, and then in the post-production or in even in the screening room, the special lenses will screen it, squeeze it back to the way that we'll be able to see it properly. There will be zoom or fixed lenses. This is the big deal of the choice that you want to make when you're saying, well, why or how you're going to shoot the movie. If you want to use zoom inside of the movie, the movement zoom, or you're not, or you're saying, well, the big difference between zoom lenses and fixed lenses, that fixed lenses are sharper. They're way sharper than zoom lenses usually, if they're kind of the same quality. And the people, or in cinematography, mostly from my experience and from what I see as well, cinematographers will go for the fixed lenses because they're giving very precise and nice picture. Okay, so the last one will be what will be the settings. So the look will be defined by settings inside of the lens itself. And here, for example, if you will go and you will say, well, I will increase my aperture, then everything will be in focus. Well, and then if you decrease your aperture, everything will be out of focus. In this case, for example, we have very shallow depths of field, and not because the aperture was very low, which I believe as well, but specific lenses were used here, which was also ridiculous on the internet later, because half of the movie was out of focus because they have like 2 centimeters in focus. So lenses will affect drastically how the movie look like. Storage is less an issue today than it was previously. Let's say again, it's funny to say like 20 years back when we did still shoot on the film, when you have like certain amount of rolls, and it's called rolls, that you have from production. And by the way, that's the Panavision 70, and you cannot use more because you don't have enough storage right now. You just can bring 5 billion hard drive, drives and you can make many takes, you cannot bring hard drives from Saturn, from some kind of like shop on the corner. Of course, they're supposed to be very fast ones, because you will record in most of the movies, you will record or kind of like highly uncompressed quick times, which is happening in the very big amount of the mid-range movies. So if you're not shooting the high end kind of like movie, I saw many production which shooting just Apple Res Pro like 444, something like this. Okay, but in usually in a very kind of like high-end production, it will be shot in some kind of raw format, and then like the space that will be taken will be quite significant. Okay, let's keep going. Now, with camera operator, I will go just through the rig now that is used, and that will be, for example, what we see here. It's handheld rig. We also spoke about this in another workshop, but basically it will be something that cameraman will be able to grab and just go and shoot. There are a few things that are important. If you in your DSLR will use just focus by yourself, so usually you will have focus puller, which will just stand on the side. And yes, Lima. Ivan? I saw your baby there.
It wasn't me. It was her.
Yay, hello. Wow, unbelievable. So huge. Okay, I will keep going. So you will have focus puller, which will help you with pulling the focus, and usually you will just go handheld, holding the camera, and keep going. Next one will be tripods that you will use on set. It's again not tripods that you will buy in Saturn, most likely. They will have also good tripods, but there is tripods for cinematography. It will be Zachtler, as in this case, or Manfrotto, I think, and few more companies, not so many, which will produce tripods specifically for heavy cameras, and they will, like, it is pleasure to work with these ones. If you have a tripod for your photo camera, they just not built to have very nice tilt, very nice pan. You have many different settings, a few settings that you can say, well, I want my pan to be very tight. When you want to make very slow, for example, a pen right, you can say, well, I will set settings that will be very hard for me to push it, but then your camera move will be very smooth. Or you can open it, and that's something that you will not find kind of like in the tripods that you will buy just cheaply. You can always exchange tripods and the heads. This is a standard kind of like hat, and then you have a spider on the bottom. I'm just throwing the names that will hold your legs together, so you will not kind of like basically that the legs will not open, so there's something that is holding there. So it's called spider, legs, hat, and the head of the tripod. Just a few names. Let's keep going. Then we have next one is a dolly. Now I put it inside under camera operator, but dolly basically it absolutely will be camera crew working with the grip, because grip, it will be the guys that will actually install or put together the dolly. Okay, there's a few types of dollies. Okay, this is dolly that we see, it's dolly with the rails here. So, but this one is also extremely common, that you have inside, you have rails, but very fast you can take your dolly from the rails and put it on the straight surface, and you can use your wheels in order to just to go dolly in, dolly out. Then what else we have on the dolly? So here mostly dollies on the big productions already will come with the pedestal in this case, or I think it's Jeep. It's called Jeep, or that little crane kind of like, and then DOP will sit here, and or cameraman will sit here depending on production, and camera will be on the other side. Here we're already coming with a kind of very heavy equipment. What else we can see here? I will just kind of like mark it. So we have cleans here. We called it cleans at least. So every dolly kind of like here as well, you see you have to be leveled, and this is quite a work for camera crew to put the rails on the surface so the camera will stay leveled. Now it's something that we never paying attention to as a kind of viewers. We see this on the sets, but this will be a big deal of the time that you need to do something like that, because you're not always shooting in this perfect environment like here. Sometimes you're shooting on the slope like that, or something not even, and quite some time of grip crew is coming to make sure that dolly is very stable. You will have to do very fast moves back and forth, and that's kind of like a fun task to build these things. Can be also very long, like 100-meter dolly, depending like what is the shot. Then I will skip cranes because well, I don't have much to tell about cranes. There's different sizes, yes, but we all they all yep, are there. And it's fun as well because you're working with your hands carrying these things. I will skip cranes. Just well that's then another one is the additional piece of equipment that you can put camera on is the Steadicam, and this is something that was and still like in use on on many movies. So you have specifically Steadicam operator that need to do a course of Steadicam operator, and frequently and here it's my experience, it will be people that do own the Steadicam and they're offering the services for the movies, and they're just saying, well, my Steadicam can carry up to this weight or these specific cameras. They're coming to set. As you can see, he has his own monitor. He's not dealing with focus. He's not dealing with anything else. He's looking on the guy. He knows where to go, and these guys are crazy. This thing is super heavy. Basically, as you can see, Steadicam, this one is working with the springs. And there's a few ways or few Steadicams, but this type will work with a kind of like with very smart way built springs and also counterweight, which will kind of like balance the camera. Okay, and this is the new generation, and that's like last 15 years was explosion with the gyro stabilized platforms. And I actually have this little one at home just to play with my DSLR, and here we have one on the helicopter, and here this guy, that's kind of like was funny when I found it on the internet, but it's also has a gyro stabilizer here most likely. How does this work? And it's this gyro stabilization actually used everywhere approximately, and you have this in ships, you have it in space stations, you have this in helicopters. So basically there's a inside kind of like here there will be a little object which is just rotating and it's producing like a kind of like forces that's stabilizing the thing. So there are now no springs, but there is just kind of like just this stabilization power which is giving to your camera moves, to your camera, very good stabilization. Of course it's used in conjunction with the Steadicam, as we can see, but it's super cool to operate stuff like that. Okay, let's jump to next camera move. So we covered now basically where you can put your camera. I remember there's additional thing that you can mount camera on top is the it's called the spider, and mostly where you see the spider mount is the places that you want to do a crane movement, but you cannot put crane, and you have two buildings, so you're connecting wires between the building and then your camera just flying on the wires. Okay, so and you saw it probably in football games and stuff, but it's used a lot in production as well, because you don't need to have a crane, and it's very good with the space. Basically you're not catching space with the stuff that otherwise would be on the ground. Back to the camera moves. Okay, so this is a joke that kind of like I think we're also on LinkedIn. It's basically it's not called the pan. Every move it's not pan. And there are a few camera moves that we should know. So basically, when camera is going forward, is the dolly, okay? Okay. Also, you can make zoom in and zoom out to give perception that we're getting closer. Of course, there's no parallax. Then we have here it's track, and that's the difference I think in the countries, because we always just were mentioning, like at least on the set that I was working, dolly left, dolly right, camera always towards the actor. Pedestal up or down, it's in case if you on the pedestal or on the crane, when the camera is itself makes movement up or down. It also can be called boom, jib, crane up and crane down. Okay, so, and I'm stopping here because it is important for us, because frequently we're talking to VFX soup or talking to director, and then they're like, well, and then we want in this shot to add a little bit of jib up, and we're like, what is jib? We can go to internet. Okay, so it's good to learn stuff like that. Then the simplest one is the pan, tilt, camera standing, again pan, tilt, no parallax. Okay, roll, no parallax as well. Roll is very rare movement, you almost not going to see that. I don't remember even movie that I saw the roll. Okay, so let's go to the next part of the camera equipment, and that will be the the slate. Okay, and it is as well for us VFX folks important to read the slate. We have pictures of slates delivered to us on some productions when we need to understand to relate material to certain takes. So let's go and let's no, I will explain it to you because I don't have I had like some explanations there. So first of all, there will be roll number. So where the material is going to be stored. Roll number 1. Or if you're using, which is very frequent in our movies, more than one camera, the roll will be, for example, camera A, camera B, camera C, roll 37. Okay? So 3 cameras shooting same guy, clap. First of all, you have clap to synchronize your sound and the video, because sound will be recorded separately. We'll get there. Okay, but then let's read. We have roll, we have which scene is we're shooting now, what is the take number? In this case, take number 9, can be way more. Okay, what is the take? It's attempt to get a shot. Okay, so it's like, you know, shot 55, take 1, clap, boom, action. La 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 la. Yeah, can you do it differently? Take 2, clap, action. Okay, then what is the production? Who is the director? Who is the cameraman? Okay, and I don't know, I don't remember actually what was here, but FPS, it's what is the frame per second that we're shooting. And then very important part is going here on the lower part. Again, is it interior? Is it exterior? Day or it's night? I don't know what sync is. Who's remember? Oh, and Moss. But basically, it's usually it will be day, night, interior, exterior, and the date of the shoot. Okay, so that's generally what will be kind of parts and equipment of the camera department. Let's go to Gaffer. Okay, so the Gaffer crew responsibility, it's working on the position of the lights and fastest way to change the lighting setups between shots. Gaffers will mediate between the director of photography and the rest of the lighting crew. And we're talking about the Gaffer, the head Gaffer. Okay, and of course responsible for safety. They have to really be cool. Clap upside down means it was clapped in the end and not in the beginning. Okay, good one. Didn't know that. Thank you. So basically, Gaffer will be responsible for light, department of the Gaffer. And I will just talk about all of them together, but right now I will just give the little separation between Gaffer and Best Boy. You remember the DOP, which was responsible for the look of the movie? Gaffer is the technical guy that also very artistic, that will sit with DOP and they will talk how they're going to achieve this look. Okay, so DOP will say, well, dude, I really want this soft feeling, and then I really want this nice kind of backlight feeling. Okay, soft light, then we'll put a butterfly, we'll give you like Ari sun and very soft from the front, and then we'll light the background and we'll give a backlight or something like this. And he's starting to talk already lights, okay, and that will be the Gaffer, the Best Boy and Electric, and let's give it Gaffer and Best Boy, because that's two guys that definitely will be okay, thanks. I will get there later. So basically, a Gaffer and the Best Boy. Best Boy, it will be absolute executioner, and under Best Boy, you will have quite few, even on simple set, people which helping to set up lights. Best Boy will work with Best Boy grip very closely, exactly as a first camera assistant, which will have to put the camera together. So these guys here, they all will work together in very kind of like hopefully very good way, because otherwise everything is collapsing. Let's go electricity, very important part. Movie making, it's not exactly environmental friendly business, so we consuming, or guys that shooting movie consuming absolutely immense amount of energy. Just an example, my light here, it's probably like 15 watt. And the smallest light on set that you will have will be probably 300 watt, and I'm talking about not these guys. This is probably, I don't know if somebody lately was, it's probably at least 3K, so 3000 watt this light. Okay, and this is very little one. You will have way bigger one. So Electricity, the gaffer will have to make a choice in the very beginning, and that will be also choice production wise. You going to feed yourself from main grid, you will bring generators. Okay, if you have access to main grid, which will accommodate the amount of energy that you need, well, lucky you. Okay, because generators will cost you quite some money, and that's what you saw probably you cycling in the city, and then you see like 7 trucks. Okay, usually these trucks will be with equipment as well, but then you will have some 2 trucks which are generators. On the middle size productions and small ones, you will use generators like this Honda. Okay, you'll try to put it somewhere as far as possible so they will not annoy you with the noise, and then you will take like 32-bit ampere, I think, cables, and 16 and more, I think even 48 if I'm not mistaken, but I may be mistaken. These huge cables that later will split to the every light. Very important that on the production you really don't want to run on set, you want to walk. And as you can see, these ones, and this is not special set, this is usual set, the electricians will put their cables as organized as possible, because otherwise everybody tripping over these cables. Okay, cables always will be unwrapped. In many cases, the cables will arrive, of course, collected. And for example, if your cable is 50 meters, but your connections one to each other is like 10 meters, you're not going to leave your cable wrapped, because otherwise it will burn. Cables heating up because the amount of energy and amount of electricity which is going through them, it's very huge, and consumption of this. And that's why you never want, also at home by the way, to leave your long cable collapsed while you're using this. You always want to unwrap it, because otherwise it will just melt to itself, which happened on few productions that I have been. I arriving to lights, and now we have 5 minutes left, which means I'm far from the finishing. I'm really in the middle, and I think I will stop right now, and I will finish this next week, because I really don't want to run and to rush. If you have questions so far, or things to add, or things that I said which are incorrect, we can have this a little bit time right now.
So I wanted to add about the cable wrapping. It's not only a fire hazard, which, as you say, is a real fire hazard, not a cover-S thing. It also creates buzzing sounds. If you have some cables wrapped around and another cable wrapped around, it creates just buzz and disturbance in a lot of equipment. So better do that too.
Thanks. Yeah, guys.
Yep. Yeah, I think, I mean, you mentioned that, I don't know who suggested that figure was missing. It was the VFX supervisor on set.
Yep.
And you mentioned that you will add to the list, but I think it would be interesting just have a specific meeting on the duty of.
Yep, absolutely.
Because, I mean, I think it's the one that interests most of us, at least me.
Yep.
Well,
and I think we can easily achieve that, because we have few guys which have quite some experience. I don't want to do this because I did like only 2 or 3 supervisions on set, but some people which are doing this a lot will be quite easy to find, I believe. Good point. Yeah. What was the thing, Itamar, on the clapper? It's that sound is taken not on the.
Yeah, it's just to mark that
separately.
It's a separate between the recording is separate between the devices.
Yeah.
The sound and the pictures. You will need to sync them. It's not because a lot of times the camera would actually have the audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're actually recording an extra.
Yeah. So you need to know. So okay, no, there's
no external
recording.
You have a click on the sync to just.
Yeah, Michelangelo.
Yeah, regarding this thing of the clap, one very important thing is not to clap it too hard because the guy, the boomer, is right there with the boom, and it happened a couple of times on sets where I worked on that the clapper did it too strong, and the guy was like, "Whoa, stop it!" Uh, no, that was a fun thing, and yeah, now we have software that makes the sync automatically because both Alexa and Red they record audio, so they have software to do that. But I remember doing on a set I had to sync the whole movie in Final Cut 7 with like going with the clap frame by frame and then taking the sound and seeing the waveform. I remember already like 10 years ago, it was a pain in the ass. Now it's much, much easier.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
clap has a problem with motion blur also because sometimes
Yeah.
you don't have an actual frame where it actually closes. You have a frame before and a frame a bit after, and it's kind of like, yeah.
I think somebody else, Jan, did you raise hand?
Yeah, it's just like my experience about like scouting and tech recce is that there is like different thing that scouting, they like hunt for the location that fits the screenplay, and the tech recce is they actually take the crew, like the technical people, and they are there to like be sure that there is electricity. They can use this camera because I don't know the room is big enough and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was my one point. And the second point is you totally missed the producers on the set, which usually no one cares about VFX unless something goes wrong, and then producers will jump on your head and will ask you the super nice question like, is it possible? Will that be expensive? Like, give me answers now.
Yeah. I left producer completely. It's kind of the guys producer. It's overlord basically, which has money. Okay, then he will basically. I just didn't want to put director down. I wanted to make him the hero. Yeah. Jonas.
Yeah, like one topic we really try to focus on at the film school is to call it cameraman or woman, which is like this gender topic, I know.
Yeah.
But and it's always like if you talk about a VFX supervisor, it's most of the time a he.
Yeah.
So that's like the new students coming in, they try, or like we try to teach them called like camera people, or
Yeah.
a little bit off topic, but still.
Yeah, it's I actually I was when I was shooting here, my wife, she's Kamerafrau, and it was very easy for me to get it this kind of like it, because in German it's a cameraman, Kamerafrau, and it was kind of actually it was very
Person. The right word is person. Camera
very,
person.
but
Yeah.
right now 10 o'clock, and I have to jump to my first meeting. Yeah, thank you very much. We'll proceed next week because the workshop of Tony will be moved anyway, and I will keep going through the rest of departments. And yeah, if you're interested to hear the rest, I will see you next week. All right.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
All right.
Stop recording.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Bye.
Ciao, Martin.
Thank you, Alexei.
Thanks.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.